Hello, everybody. Dave Neal here, stand-up comic and host of Bachelor Nation News. We have a breaking news story just revealed on People that Gerry Turner, the first Golden Bachelor, reveals cancer diagnosis. I'm not going to speculate anything about this story. I'm just going to read it for you guys. It's a real bummer to find out you've got cancer during what is an otherwise was a very important and big time of his life. That being when he was married to, very briefly, Teresa. Now, is this one of the reasons why they broke up? He says, Golden Bachelor's Gerry Turner diagnosed with cancer weeks before Teresa split, huge bearing on my decisions. In an exclusive interview with People, Turner opens up about how receiving a bone marrow cancer diagnosis in March affected his priorities as a newlywed. Yeah, I mean, he got married, early January? They completely rushed it. And it seems as though one of the biggest reasons, public perception of why they broke up is that she didn't want to be living in some random ass town in Indiana. She's a Jersey girl. She's from the East Coast. He's not. But there could be more to the story. They were considering getting property together in the Carolinas. Let's just read it. Gerry Turner is opening up about his divorce from Teresa Nist and a life-changing diagnosis. From his Indiana home, the Golden Bachelor, 72, calls People over Zoom. Dressed in a suit and tie, Turner is ready to share new details for the first time about his shocking breakup from Teresa. I think it's adorable that he put a suit and tie on for a Zoom meeting. It's like, bro, I'm barely wearing underwear right now. And by the way, I'm going to read this article for you, but right after it, I have our single mom Christmas wish list. I have a voicemail to share with you guys, and I'm going to share how you can donate to the single moms during our Christmas season. If you haven't already, good chance to give back to the community and help some single moms who could really, really use a little extra Santa Claus during the Christmas season. All right, let's continue. On the inaugural season of the ABC dating show, Turner and Nist ended their journey by getting engaged during the final episode, which aired November 2023. A few months later, the two made their love official when they tied the knot during a live televised wedding special in January of 2024. And by the way, the highlight of that special was Braden proposing to Christina. That was the highlight. And they're still together, not pregnant as far as I know. No breaking news stories there. There were rumors. There shouldn't be. I think it's because she decided to give up drinking alcohol. It's like people can do that and not be pregnant. But after just 3 months of marriage, the newlyweds announced their decision to divorce during a joint interview on Good Morning America, which aired on April 12th, 2024. Same day he officially filed for divorce. So he wasn't waiting around. Turner, who lives 3 states away from Nist, New Jersey, said at the time that the distance had proved to be a problem and the two couldn't settle on a place to live together. They were both dedicated to their families and unwilling to leave them behind. There's a topic that I haven't wanted to talk about until now, he tells People, sharing how getting involved with various charities and fundraisers has inspired him to open up. I think it's time, also because it probably will clear up a lot of mystery around what happened back in February, March, and April. As Teresa and I were trying very hard to find our lifestyle and where we were going to live and how we were going to make our life work, I was unfortunately diagnosed with cancer. 3 years ago, Turner got a shoulder injury when someone knocked him over while he was teaching a pickleball class. At the time, he didn't have time to go to an orthopedic surgeon, and while the show came along, his life got busier. Finally, I got around to going to the doctor, and the orthopedic surgeon said, "Yeah, Gerry, there's not much we can do for your shoulder, but there are some unusual blood markers here." And so an orthopedic surgeon went to my family doctor. My family doctor referred me to an oncologist, and now I'm working with a hematology oncology group in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Turner was diagnosed with a slow-growing bone marrow cancer with a really long name called Waldenstrom's macroglobulinemia. According to the Mayo Clinic, the disease changes white blood cells into cancer cells and builds up in the bone marrow, the spongy material inside the bones where blood cells are made. Unfortunately, there's no cure for it, so that weighs heavily in every decision I make. It was like 10 tons of concrete were just dropped on me, and I was a bit in denial for a while. I didn't want to admit it. Discovering his cancer was more of a process rather than an event, he says. The first wave of information he received from his oncologist was that he had a blood disorder, though he acknowledges he pretty much knew it would be cancer. After sharing his blood disorder with Teresa in February, Turner went in for additional testing, including a bone marrow biopsy, some weeks later, and his diagnosis became more definitive. In mid-March, he decided to tell her what I knew and explain the situation to her. Certainly, it was hard for me, he says, of revealing his diagnosis to his then-wife, but the conversation was brief, and I think she was a little bit awestruck by the news. So understandable. I wanted my life to continue on as normal as possible, and that led me to believe that as normal as possible more meant spending time with my family, my 2 daughters, my 2 son-in-laws, my granddaughters. And the importance of finding the way with Teresa was still there, but it became less of a priority. Hey, this makes perfect sense. I mean, it's like, gosh, can you even imagine trying to start a new relationship with someone during the time in your life where you're not really ready to move much, and then you find out you're going to have you have a cancer that I guess is not curable. The retired restaurateur noted that the judgments made about his separation were unfair to the now exes. When you're hit with that kind of news and the shock wears off after a few days or a few weeks and you regroup and you realize what's important to you, that's where you start to move forward. And I hope that people understand in retrospect now that that had a huge bearing on my decisions, and I think probably Teresa's as well. Hopefully they'll look at things a little bit differently, that maybe it wasn't quite a rash, fast decision that people thought, that there was something else going on. Despite his diagnosis, Turner says he has no plans to say no to anything. He has adopted Tim McGraw's "Live Like You're Dying" as his new philosophy. I'm going to pack as much fun as I possibly can into my life and enjoy every moment. And when I'm gone, I'm gone. But I'm not going to have regrets. Now, Turner wishes Nist all of the good luck in the world, that she finds everything she wants to. That glamour and starstruck whirlwind time was really a cherished memory, he says, of their short-lived relationship. It was wonderful, and I certainly wish it would have had a different ending, that we would have found our way, that we would have found solutions to a problem, and most of all, that I would not have had a diagnosis that so strongly influenced my decisions in the directions I went. So anyway, there it is. I mean, fascinating, sad story. And this is kind of some of the stuff you're going to see with Golden Bachelor. I mean, let's be quite honest. It's, the Golden Bachelor is an older lead. They're older contestants. They're closer towards the natural end of life than the younger Bachelor series. And with that, you're going to get real tough health news. I think that's partly what made the show so popular. Clearly, Gerry Turner's season was way more popular than Joan's. The less people watched her season. I think her season was moved around a little bit. Maybe it wasn't on the same night. There were some different aspects to it. But clearly, the ratings weren't exactly there. But with that said, I think what makes the show so heart-wrenching is knowing that time is of the essence. Time is limited. And while they thought they found love on the show, they couldn't get the semantics in order, and they already had love. They already had love from their families. So it's like it's a whole new aspect of what to give up. Now, with regard to the Golden Bachelor moving forward, people have said, hey, make it so that the leads already live close by. Cast seasons the way Love is Blind does, which is have them be close to each other so they don't have to make these heartbreaking decisions, choosing family over, lovers and this and that. Well, anyhow, speaking of heartbreak, I have so many tearful stories of single moms in our community that are calling in the voicemail line. We've got basically a spreadsheet to help all of them. Some of them have already received amazing gifts. And let me see if I have any clips of any of them. But some of them have received gifts. Oh, here's one. Check this out. This is from one of our audience members. This is insane. These are single moms that are having a hard time scraping by, and to see this many gifts show up and for them to be able to have the joy and the pride to wrap presents, knowing our community helped Santa really show up big for them, this is so special. And this is from you guys. This is from our audience. And when people think, I can't make a difference, you can right here. I wanted to share with you a voicemail we got from one of our audience members actually in the United Kingdom, a British voicemail. They didn't receive much on their Amazon list. And in the sad and heartbreaking part to me was finding out that they were just trying to get by and afford groceries.
Hi everyone, my name's Jen. We're in the UK. I am a single mum to 2 kiddos. One who's mine, Aiden, who's 17, and the other, Emmy, who's living with us for the foreseeable because she's had some problems at home, and would be homeless otherwise, and we didn't want her to go into foster care. So she's 15 and she's my little girly companion. Things are really tough at the moment. I don't really want to go into too many details, but anything anyone can do to help would be really, really appreciated. It's just so hard to cover bills and food and everything when it's just you and you've got disabilities and stuff. So yeah, any help would be very, very appreciated. And yeah, thank you very much. Have a lovely Christmas, everyone. Bye.
Well, thank you to Jen. And it is heartbreaking. And I know these stories are very, they touch people right in their soul. And that's why we have our Bachelor audience. We see love play out. We see heartbreak play out. And in cases like our single mom Christmas wish list, we see situations that nobody would have dreamt of that they have to get through, and they persevere. And they persevere because they have communities that seemingly show up out of nowhere to save Christmas. And ours is one of those. So there is an example of some of the donations that have come in, and I'll post a link in the comment section to the different wish lists that we have here. It might not be changing the world. It might be only a dozen plus moms that are out there. But trust me, the ripple effect is very, very loud. So appreciate in advance all those that could donate. And my heartfelt sympathies go to Gerry Turner's family. I actually got a message from someone in Gerry Turner's family this week that said, "Hey, Dave," they reached out to me and they just said, "We appreciate that you've covered Gary's story with kindness." And I saw that lacking in other YouTube channels where they wanted to make him out to be a monster. They wanted to make him out to be, something that I clearly didn't see watching the show myself. He's a human. He's trying his best, and he's got a great family around him. And I hope, however long, I'm hoping that even though there is no cure for this cancer, that they can get it under control. And I'm hoping he can continue to live and thrive and enjoy his family, especially during this holiday season. So if Gerry, if you're out there, we wish you a Merry Christmas, a Happy Holidays, and to everyone else out there, link in the comment section if you want to help donate to our single parent Christmas wish list. All right. Coming up next, we'll have the podcast. Scan that QR code if you want to listen to all the entertainment news in one place.